Good morning. It's almost good afternoon, isn't it? Oh, not really. We're good. So, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I wanted to share this really cool thing that happened last night. Cash had his testing for his orange belt, and it was super cool. We've been practicing, and now we've been practicing even more just because now I'm doing it. And now we're like on the same level. But yesterday it was like while we were practicing, I was like, oh, I was getting frustrated. And he's like, Mom, you just have to take it one step at a time. And it was funny because like now the tables have turned. But yesterday at testing, he broke his board in 3 pieces. So it was funny because like there's all these little kids, and then they get bigger and bigger like as they're going up in rank, and the boards get like thicker and thicker. It's funny, but he was second in line, and you have to break your board in like different pieces or different whatever moves or whatever. So like somebody had to do it with their heel, I'm going to do it with their hand or whatever. But so he had to do his with his elbow, and the instructor puts on like the eye protective eyewear, and you're like, do you really need that? Well, yeah, he does. So Cash goes up, and he did some like practice ones and stuff like that, and then he did it, and his board broke in 3 pieces. And everybody, and then the board like came flying at the instructor's face, and he was like, that's why I wear protective gear, because there's just like wood everywhere, and everybody was like, oh my gosh. And like all of his friends were around, they're like, oh, 3 pieces? Like everybody breaks their board in 2, but this is actually the second time that he's broken in 3 pieces, which was kind of cool. So, but like right after he did that, he ran up to me and he was like, Mom! I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, I did that because I get to work out with you every day. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you make me strong. So, and it was like so cool for me that, it was just really neat, all of his friends, were standing around him, and they were like, oh my gosh, you're so cool, and I was thinking about it, and it's like, it's hard to make that decision to, commit to yourself that you're going to, work out every day, or, be healthy or whatever. It takes exactly these, the same time, to be unhealthy as it does to be healthy. It's just, it's the struggle that you have to, the initial struggle that you have to do to make it through. But, I made that decision to turn everything around and to work out, and then now he does it every day with me, and he loves it. He loves doing wall sits, and he loves doing push-ups, and he loves doing it. And it's like all those days where it was so hard for me, to get out of bed, where I was sore, where I didn't want to do it anymore, where I was done, and that just made it worth it, that my kid is strong because of me. And obviously because of him, but it was just like, that's the motivation that you need to like keep going, and that's when it's all worth it. And it's like, I think about the past 3 years. I had something, I had one of those on this day things or whatever on Facebook, And I made a post in 2013. And he was 2. He was 2, gonna be 3. And the post was, it's getting to the point where, I just want to be home with my baby, because it's getting to the point where he's sad and he's mad when I leave to go to work. So, I posted that, and my friend Amy had actually commented to me that she was like, you can always be a stay-at-home mom with, part-time hours. And that was in 2013. And I ignored her for a whole another year, essentially. And I was like, man, I could have started this journey a whole year sooner if I wasn't ignoring her. But, everything happens for a reason, right? And last night when Cash ran up to me and said, I did it because of you, because I work out with you, Mom. It just solidified that everything, that it was worth it. Everything has been worth it. And that I'm really happy that for the decisions that I've made, because I get to, because I finally stopped ignoring Amy, and I did finally do this, and I finally did become a work-at-home mom. I've turned into the mom that I've always wanted to be, since I had him. And I get to experience, he gets to experience everything with me. I get to stay at home. I get to focus on, a better quality of life for the both of us. And because I made that decision, and there has been, every dog has its day, right? There's been those times. And it was funny. I did this question. I did these 30 questions. I read an article that was like, if you want to make, thank you, Leah, so are you. It was like, if you want to make your next month better than the month before, fill out these, 30 questions, or answer these 30 questions. And one of the questions was, what do you regret from the previous month or whatever? Good morning. And it was really hard for me, because I actually don't regret too much. I really don't. Every stupid thing that I've done, I've learned from. Every, bad decision has led to something even greater, So I don't really regret anything. It was hard. I regret not doing things. It's more than anything, but, again, everything does happen. Everything has consequences and great things, and, struggle leading up to the great things and everything. So it's like, you just have to be happy with where you're at, and if there's decisions that need to be made to change things, then do it, But last night when he was like, I did this because of you, and like, it's like, if I was where I was 3 years ago, I would never see him. I would never be with him. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be working out every day, and I would be tired. I wouldn't want to, I would want to, but I wouldn't have the energy to be the mom that I get to be now. And it's crazy. So, whenever you have times, if you're working towards a goal, if you're working towards something greater, if you're being great, if you are, one step at a time and it gets hard, I love the hard part. The hard part gets me there, The easy part, I don't know if there is any easy part, but the victory, that makes the hard part all worth it. And it just, last night, it just kind of validated that it's all worth it. And I'm happy that I get to be the mom that he, I get to be his mom. It's amazing. You have kids and they're just such a great gift. They're such an amazing gift. I was talking to my friend the other day. She just had a baby and she's like, I look at that monitor, like I check him breathing, every 5 seconds. And, thank you. I love you. That's amazing. I don't know if Cash would agree with that all the time, but no. But, she's like, I check on him, and I'm like, sister, I had that monitor in his room until he was almost 4, I think. I had the baby monitor in his room, which is fine. I'm like, you know what? Here's the thing. Artists and builders and mechanics, they want to make sure that stuff that they create is working properly. So they check on it a lot and make sure that it's up to par and it's working. So we created them. We get to check on them as much as we want because I still make sure that he's breathing. Like some nights, not every night, but a majority, which is good. It's fine. I think I'm just being efficient. But we have children, and if I don't know, we so much crave attention and acceptance from the outside world, and we want people to like us or whatever, and I guess I just don't care. I don't care as long as he likes me, and I know that no matter what I do, that I have to go and keep going in the right direction to do him right. I know that if every wrong move could possibly get back to him, and I know that, and I screw up big time, but I learn, and and if I screw up with him, I tell him. But I know that, he's watching. And if you ever think that, what you're doing isn't worth it, just look at your kids, because they'll turn around and they will do the exact same thing that you do, because you're leading them. You're leading from the front. And, it's like before all of this, I smoked, and then I'm like, what? I don't want him to smoke. That's crazy. Like, it was one day I pictured him smoking, and I was like, oh my God, that's so dumb. Like, I have to stop. And I stopped, and so many things. If you don't think that anyone's watching, trust me, they are. And it doesn't matter if you're a grandparent or your parent or your brother or sister, the littles are watching. And I just think that it's great that last night it paid off. My decision to be a work-at-home mom, my decision to start working out, my decision to start eating healthier and take the greens and have him take the greens and eat properly and drink lots of water. And I'm teaching him that he can, he doesn't have to be an It Works person. If he wants to be, that's great, but I'm teaching him to, follow his dreams. And another thing, yesterday, his lunch pail has a rip in it. And I went to go throw it away, and he goes, no, don't throw it away. And I'm like, oh, well, it's ripped, buddy. Like, it's broken. And I think this lunch pail has been through a couple of kids. It was a hand-me-down, because I take hand-me-downs. I love them. But he's like, Mom, we can fix it because there's other children who don't have lunch pails. And I was like, oh my God. Swing. It's working. He's paying attention. He's like, we just can't get rid of that. You don't throw that away. We have to make sure that other children have something. And I'm like, okay, you're right. You know, and he prays every night for other people. He prays for comfort. He prays for God to watch over people. And it's nuts that to think that, you know, he's so good. I mean, he's a Spitfire too, but he's so good. And I did that. You know what I mean? Like, I started that trend. I started it because it's really funny. He does remember. He remembers when I didn't think he did, because he was 3 when I started this. And he remembers when I went to work every day, and he remembers missing me. He remembers his favorite donuts to this day are the ones from Bigby, the little mini ones. Those are his favorite. He remembers those. He remembers when I would work at Wilson's. He remembers being able to go in the back and make his own chocolate milk. He remembers. He remembers most days visiting me at work than anything else from when he was a kid. And that sucks. I mean, kinda, you know. He remembers things that he got to do when he would visit me at my jobs instead of other things, you know? I just realized that. I just realized that. He remembers getting haircuts at the salon, because I did cut his hair, even though everybody thinks I didn't. I'm really glad that I did this, so my kid has other memories of me than just working and visiting me at work. I'm really glad that I get to be with my kid. I'm really glad that I get to give him a better mom than what I would be right now. Because what I was doing wasn't a temporary situation, it was pretty permanent. So, you know, if you ever think it's hard and you're working towards something, just don't stop, because people are cheering you on. And if even people aren't cheering you on, the littlest ones are, because they want the better life. They don't know it, but they deserve it. My son deserved more things than having his favorite donuts be Bigby and chocolate milk from behind a restaurant, or in the kitchen of a restaurant. Because that's what it was most days. People would bring my kid up for me to be able to visit with. And then I would have to text somebody how to put him to bed, because I couldn't do it. So, you don't live like that. You can't live like that. That's not living. That's not any kind of living that I ever wanted for my son and for me. So I'm really glad now that he's older, that he can have memories and make memories. We can make memories working out and doing karate together. And I'm really glad that he's going to be able to have, and maybe, when he's older, he'll realize that too, that there's a reason why Big B donuts are his favorite. And he'll be really glad that he gets to be the man that I wanted him to be because of the decisions that I made. So, just keep it pays off. If anything's hard, I promise you there's a payoff, and it's all worth it. And even from last night, I cannot wait to see what else the future has in store for us, because if he can break a board in 3 pieces and I get the credit for that, I can't wait till when he's president. I'm just saying. Cash is a pretty cool name for president with a K. So yeah. Or an astronaut. Actually, I don't know about astronaut. Maybe even president. Maybe he'll just be like really cool and on stage, and when he wins a Grammy, that's when he thanks me. You never know. But I know that the things that we're doing now, we have a better chance of that happening than what it used to be like. So I did not intend for that to happen. Weird. So you guys have a really great weekend, and thank you as always for supporting me in my crazy journey and liking all my pictures of my crazy child and my crazy animals and my insanely active life. And just keep working toward your goals and your dreams, and there's a payoff, and it's amazing. So catch you on the flip.